At the end of the 7th century BCE, as the Iron Age was nearing its end in the Near East, the once mighty Assyrian Empire was finally defeated and replaced by the Babylonians under the leadership of King Nabopolassar. While Nabopolassar established the Neo-Babylonian Empire, it was his son, Nebuchadnezzar II, who succeeded in expanding the new empire and restoring Babylon to its former glory. King Nabopolassar II was born in 642 BCE in the region of Chaldea and was named after his grandfather, who had been the governor of the city of Uruk under the reign of King Ashurbanipal. The name Nebuchadnezzar originates from his Akkadian traditional name Nabokuduriusur, meaning, "O Nabu, protect my firstborn son." Nabu was the patron god of the Mesopotamian people for writing, literacy, and wisdom, achieving great renown in the first millennium BCE after being identified as the son of Babylon's chief deity, Marduk. As the crown prince of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar participated in his father's campaign to conquer the city of Haran in 609 BCE, where the last ruler of Assyria, Ashur-uballit II, had gathered the remnants of his forces. The Battle of Haran led to the final downfall of the Neo-Assyrian Empire. Subsequently, Nebuchadnezzar was promoted and began to co-command the army alongside his father. Together, they led a military expedition into the northern mountainous region of Assyria in 607 BCE. After his father returned to Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar continued to independently lead operations, holding the position of commander-in-chief and achieving significant victories that solidified Babylon's newfound superpower status in the region. At that time, Pharaoh Necho II of Egypt attempted to revive the fallen Neo-Assyrian Empire by leading a large army into the former Assyrian territory and establishing a base of operations in the city of Carchemish. Nebuchadnezzar confronted Necho and his forces in 605 BCE at the Battle of Carchemish, dealing a heavy blow to the Egyptians. Nebuchadnezzar's victory over the Egyptians at Carchemish echoed throughout history, appearing in later documents such as the Book of Jeremiah and the books of Kings in the Hebrew Bible. Upon the death of King Nabopolassar in July 605 BCE, Nebuchadnezzar hastened back to his homeland in Babylon to claim the throne before his brother, Nabu-shumlishar, had the chance to seize it. Upon assuming rulership, Nebuchadnezzar directly addressed Babylon's patron deity in his inaugural speech, saying, "O merciful Marduk, may the house that I have built endure forever. May I delight in its splendor, enjoy longevity within it, with abundant offspring, and receive the tribute of all kings from every region, from all mankind." After burying his father, Nebuchadnezzar returned to the front lines in Syria to continue expanding his empire. Nebuchadnezzar and his troops conquered the city of Ashkelon in the Levant in 604 BCE and captured their king, plundering its wealth, reducing it to rubble. Over the next 3 years, the rising Babylonian Empire conquered other nations, including the Kingdom of Judah, with the support of Greek mercenaries, and expanded its territory into Palestine. However, in 601 BCE, Nebuchadnezzar decided to advance into Egypt. Despite defeating the Egyptian army at Carchemish, the invasion of Egypt ultimately failed. Both sides suffered heavy losses, and this failure shattered Babylon's confidence. Vassal states began to doubt the empire's strength, viewing this young empire as a paper tiger. In 598 BCE, Nebuchadnezzar resumed his campaign against the Kingdom of Judah and besieged the capital city of Jerusalem, aiming to bring back the city's elite citizens to Babylon. Judah's resistance led to another conflict in 589 BCE, resulting in the destruction of Jerusalem and the decline of the kingdom, forcing its people into exile. After the final siege of the Canaanite city of Tyre, Nebuchadnezzar II solidified his empire and authority. He then embarked on grand construction projects to renovate and rebuild his 13 cities, with Babylon receiving the greatest focus. An important part of this project was the reconstruction of the Grand Ziggurat, known as Etemenanki, a structure destroyed by the Assyrian king, along with much of Babylon. By 600 BCE, Babylon had become so magnificent that it was considered the center of the world. Great temples and monuments became focal points and were accessible via new roads. Particularly noteworthy was the creation of the processional way for the Festival of Marduk, a 70-foot wide, 21 street running from the temple complex at the city's center through the Ishtar Gate to the north, considered a significant demonstration of Babylon's wealth and power. Nabopolassar took particular pride in the construction of the processional way for the Festival of Marduk and the Ishtar Gate. Both were so impressive that ancient writers proposed they be considered for inclusion in the list of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. When mentioning the 7 wonders of the ancient world, it's impossible not to associate them with the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. What makes the Hanging Gardens unique among the 7 wonders of the ancient world is that it remains a subject of debate, as no archaeological evidence has been found, and the only information about it comes from after the fall of Babylon. Diodorus Siculus, c. 90-30 BCE, provides the most detailed description of the Hanging Gardens in his work Bibliotheca Historica, Book 2 or 10. He states that instead of being built by Semiramis, the Hanging Gardens were constructed by a later Syrian king to please his wife. According to Greek tradition, specifically referring to the region as Assyria, though he might be describing gardens in the city of Nineveh of the Assyrians, rather than in Babylon. His description suggests that this structure was built after the main dynasties and could be a confusion between Nineveh and Babylon. Diodorus elaborately describes the Hanging Gardens, portraying it as a park with 4 tiers, featuring exhibition rooms under terraces and roofs covered with characteristic vegetation. This park was built at great expense, with walls 22 feet thick, paths 10 feet wide, and roofs made of stone beams, bitumen, baked bricks, and layers of lead to prevent moisture. The ground of the park was leveled and planted with abundant grass and ornamental trees, creating an enchanting landscape. The top-level exhibition rooms received light and had secret waterworks. Diodorus suggests that this structure was built over many years. However, scholars disagree on the exact location of the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. While Diodorus may be describing a different structure at Nineveh, it's believed that this account might have been confused and could be one of many variants about an actual historical location in Babylon, purportedly built by Nebuchadnezzar II to please his wife, who hailed from Persia. After the destruction of the kingdom of Judah, Nebuchadnezzar II established the Babylonian exile for the Jews, further fueling their resentment towards him and the city of Babylon. Like many other faiths, the religion of the Jews relied on the belief in the relationship between humans and their deity. When their temple in Jerusalem was destroyed, it was interpreted as Nebuchadnezzar directly desecrating their God's house. Following the Babylonian exile, the Jewish community felt disillusioned and sought explanations for the calamity that had befallen them. They concluded that their failure was due to their own waywardness and lack of proper reverence for their deity. Judaism then underwent a process of modification to focus on ethics and the practice of monotheism, while their scriptures were amended to reflect this new emphasis. In the Bible, Babylon and Nebuchadnezzar II are often depicted in a negative light. Babylon is frequently portrayed as a symbol of sin and evil, while Nebuchadnezzar II is described as a tyrannical and stubborn ruler. However, there is no historical evidence for his alleged madness or his character traits. In other historical sources, Nebuchadnezzar II is depicted as a great king who restored Babylon to its former glory and fostered cultural and artistic development. The city became a center of intellectual and artistic advancement, with a focus on education and respect for various faiths. Babylon, under the reign of Nebuchadnezzar II, is considered a symbol of prosperity and cultural progress. What are your thoughts on King Nebuchadnezzar II? Let us know your opinion in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to continue exploring ancient mysteries with us. Thank you for paying attention and listening.